When starting a new habit, you are in a very crucial time interval where it can be very easy to make mistakes and hinder your progress for a very long time to come. And in this video, I will show you that building habits is just another form of adaptation, and you can use that knowledge to your advantage to make it easier for you to adapt to new habits. And as you will see, there is both too much and too little, and that too much and too little varies depending on your personal progress and your starting position. But without further ado, let's get into the sketch that I prepared. As you can see here, I drew a coordinate system. On the y-axis, we see the effort that is necessary to maintain a new habit or a new behavior in general. And on the x-axis, there is the time you already invested into the new habit. And the plot in the middle represents the upper threshold that you can or should not surpass when you try to establish a new habit. When you do more than that, you will burn out and stop the new habit for good. It is never a good idea to do as much as possible, as you always have to do more for adaptations to take place. If you do the maximum possible amount, you have to do a little more than that the next time, and that can be very challenging over a long period of time. The lower plot represents the minimum necessary threshold for adaptation to take place. If you do less than that, your brain won't change its structure, and homeostasis is everything that takes place. AKA, you will stay exactly where you have been and will get frustrated over time since no change takes place. But what should you do now? You should try to aim for the interval between those two lines, and this is what I call the margin of error. If you stay within the area here, you are most likely to succeed in building a new habit. Doing more will result in burnout, doing less will result in no adaptation at all. Both will stop you from implementing a new habit. And as you can see in this plot, the area at the very beginning when you just pick up a new habit is especially small. During this time, that might even be the first 60 to maybe even 200 days, it is very bad when you make mistakes or just take one day off. In that case, you can, for example, be below the lower threshold and you will drop the habit for good. Or if you are very ambitious and do too much in the beginning, then it's very likely to exceed your capabilities, get frustrated, and also stop your new habit. And as always, try to aim for the middle way that is displayed in this graph. Try to aim for the margin of safety and do just as much as necessary but as little as possible. And in summary, the interval at the beginning can be very small, depending on your personal situation. If you are very inclined to start the new habit anyway and are very passionate about it, then this model is likely not for you. But when you try to start a new habit like meditation or lifting that can be very challenging and isn't too rewarding in the beginning, you have to be very careful and neither do too much nor too little. Aim for the middle way. Okay. But what have we learned today? What is the summary? Well, first, habit building is just another form of adaptation to a new behavioral environment. But this time, the adaptation takes place in the brain structure, in the neurons and in the weights of the neurons. And if you do too much at the beginning or at once, your willpower will run out and your energy conservation drive will will put the brakes on you, aka you won't continue your new habit. The same applies if you do too little. Your brain won't feel, well, in quotation marks, any necessity for adaptation and will just do nothing. And this can be especially frustrating for many people and will surely lead to you stopping the new habit. And therefore habit building can be called a balancing act, since the upper and lower threshold vary from person to person, and you have to find out those for yourself. You have to find out what your capabilities are for each habit and adjust accordingly. And it's always better to start on the lower end, since you have a little more room at the top you can go to. And in summary, habit building works best when you do just enough to enforce adaptation and little enough to avoid startling your innate energy conservation drive. Willpower and the conservation drive fight a continuous battle between those margins of error. And when you hit the interval in the middle, the chances are highest that you can actually maintain and establish a new habit. Okay, and that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you feel like I missed something, please let me know in the comment section so that other people can benefit from your wisdom. But until then, I wish you a pleasant day and goodbye.